Hey everyone, and because as November's coming up to an end, I've decided that I will review a Marvel movie that recently came out back in September. And while people are pretty much crashing all the movie theater websites for this, we are going to take a look at the 2021 movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, the production of a Shang-Chi movie actually was supposed to be in the 80s, as early as the 80s. He's with the late Brandon Lee supposed to star as Shang-Chi himself. But the movie never really made it through that much. But the production of the movie didn't really go through that much. And then in 2000 and then around 2005, around the time that the first Iron Man movie was about 3 years before the first Iron Man movie would release. For the release of the first Iron Man movie, Marvel Studios CEO at the time, Avi Arad, decided that he'd make Shang-Chi one of the 10 films in Marvel's schedule at the time. I'm under Paramount Pictures. But that never ended up happening either. It wasn't until 2018 when a Shang-Chi movie was put back in. It wasn't until around 2018 when a Shang-Chi movie was put back onto production. And on September 3rd, 2021, we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And it became a successful film at the box office at the time, at this moment of me recording the video, over $224 million at the box office. So now that we got Shang-Chi, his production out of the way, now let's see how the movie is with this review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings begins with this guy named Wen Wu, who dons the 10 rings, and one day, and thousands of years after he dons them in 1996, in search for her Ta Lo, he finds Shang-Chi's mother. And both of them fall in love with each other. And they have a son and a daughter, Shang-Chi and Jialing. But after Shang-Chi's mother is killed by these guys who are supposedly called the Iron Gang. Yeah, I don't really think they mentioned it in the movie. But when Wu dons on the rings again, and to pretty much kill the Iron Gang, and after that, he forms the 10 rings, and with forming the 10 rings, he sends Shang-Chi and Jialing and go to different places when they're older, which has the movie cut to modern day, where Shang-Chi is older, now played by Simu Liu, who and is now is a car hopper. Or parking cars. So, and with his best friend Katie, played by Awkwafina, Shang-Chi's been living in secret in San Francisco, for a while under the name Sean, which, yes, even the movie makes a joke about how weird of a name change that is. But one day while they're on a bus, this guy with a razor fist ends up trying to once Shang-Chi's necklace that he has, as then Shang-Chi fights off and Shang-Chi fights off Razor Fist and the other her 10 ring members, which then leads him into going to China to search for Jialing before the 10 rings do. Which they do get to Jialing. I think that's her name. It's either Xialing or... But they do find Jialing, who now runs sort of a fight club in China. Which also has Wong and the Abomination, and who are seen fighting with each other for a couple minutes. And don't worry, it's not the last time we see Wong in the movie. But anyways, Shang-Chi ends up fighting his sister, which Xialing absolutely beats the crap out of Shang-Chi. And this leads into the 10 rings, and Wenwu finding Shang-Chi and Jialing. Which we learn that Wenwu has been hearing the voice of his dead wife, which he still thinks the people of Ta Lo still have her there. Shang-Chi and Jialing think that this is not right, of trying to pretty much wage an attack on Ta Lo. So Wenwu has Jialing and Shang-Chi and Katie locked up in a cell right next to the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. Yeah, you remember this guy?
Tony, I swear to God, I'm gonna blow his face off.
Yeah, sometimes I want to forget about him too. But in this movie, he is actually the fake Mandarin. And as the real Mandarin had him locked in prison. As the real Mandarin locked him up in prison and for giving him a bad name. For pretty much what he did in Iron Man 3. But it's revealed that he has this thing called Morris, who possibly knows the location of Ta Lo. The reason why Wenwu didn't look into this and didn't realize this and tried to use Morris as a way to get into Ta Lo earlier is beyond me. But I'll let it slide. Morris is adorable. Oh. And yes, I even have a plush of him. Don't judge me. Anyways, is the two and so our four main characters. So the main characters, joined by now Trevor and Morris, is go to Tallow and try to go to Tallow before before Wenwu does, and they end up having to go through this maze, this like bamboo maze thing, which does look pretty cool in the movie. I'll give the movie credit. The whole maze element, and it does look pretty cool. And then when they get to Tallow, it's soon revealed that that Wenwu has been here. That there's these pretty much soul eaters. That are behind this wall. All that are pretty much luring Wenwu to there with his wife, making these pretty much creating these voices of his wife. I have to lure him there, so that he could let them free. He thinking that that's where his wife is. So the movie ends in a climactic battle with Wenwu fighting Shang-Chi. And the Ten Rings fighting the people of Tallow. Including Jialing and Katie. And Trevor and Morris are there. And they don't really do that much. That's during the climax of the movie. Anyways, then Shang-Chi, he ends up gaining the 10 rings from Wenwu, off of Wenwu, and they end up having a climactic battle, which leads into, and Shang-Chi's father, aka Wenwu, ends up dying by one of those soul eaters. And then Shang-Chi, he now in control of all the 10 rings. Now is to stop this giant soul eater from taking the soul of this dragon. And that looks precisely like Sisu from Raya and the Last Dragon, which is kind of hilarious because both this movie and Raya and the Last Dragon star Awkwafina. And ironically, Awkwafina is the voice of Sisu. I just found that pretty funny. Anyways, the movie ends off with Shang-Chi finally defeating the dragon, with Shang-Chi defeating the Soul Eater, the giant Soul Eater. And I forgot to mention that during the fight, the Ten Rings and the people of Tallow decide to work together to fight off these Soul Eaters, which I thought was a pretty cool scene. And after they have a funeral for pretty much everybody they lost during the fight, the movie ends off with Shang-Chi and Katie retelling the story of the movie to their friends at this bar, which of course they don't believe them till Wong shows up. Drinks this person's drink, and again leads us for another sequel. All with an end credit scene showing. With two end credit scenes. One showing one at the very end of the movie, showing Xia Ling now in control of the Ten Ring, now in control of the army, the Ten Rings, and Shang-Chi, Katie, and Wong looking over of what the Ten Rings actually are, with Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner. Which Captain Marvel, of course being Captain Marvel, obviously, he doesn't have time for any of this crap, so... And just like how in Endgame she had a problem that was more important than the frickin' end of the universe, in this movie she has some problem going on. There's some problem going on her side. She leaves, and so she pretty much leaves them, where she says, as Bruce will give you my number, and Bruce replies in a joke that I find pretty funny. She always does this. I don't actually have her number. She always does this. And then of course we have the best scene in the movie.
Or
I don't care what in the world Spider-Man No Way Home will have in its end credit scene. It will not be as good as that. And that was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And overall, it's a great movie. I really loved it. The movie feels fun, enjoyable. And even as a origin movie, and feels like a fun origin movie. Unlike a recent film from Marvel, The Eternals, which in my opinion had way too many characters for the movie, which in my opinion could have worked better as a show to show more of the characters, and more develop them as actual well-written characters in the movie. While in the actual film, it felt like the movie was trying to carry too much, with its longer running time, with its long 2.5 hour running time. In this one, it feels like it has enough characters that it could develop the ones that it needs to for the plot. Like Xia Ling, Shang-Chi, Wenwu, who are very developed and are very complex characters. Especially Wenwu, who ends up having who the actor who played him in the movie does a great job. So does Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. He does an absolute great job as the character. I haven't read any Shang-Chi comics before, but he gives off a good personality. But what Simu Liu does gives off a good personality and makes me really like the character. And I'm excited to see more projects with him. Hopefully we will get more projects featuring Shang-Chi. The movie is banned from China, which is Disney's favorite place at this point. So I don't really know what they're gonna do with. A sequel, if they would even do a sequel. But I'd love to see that. Overall, my rankings for the MCU movies so far this year would be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Black Widow, and the Eternals. With probably Spider-Man No Way Home being the first. With probably Spider-Man No Way Home taking the first spot at some point in December. So that's it for... So overall, I give Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings a 9 out of 10. So that's my review of Shang-Chi. Tell me what you thought about the movie in the comments. And as for next time, I think we'll probably do one more video for the year before we get into some holly jolly stuff. See you later, guys, and don't forget, you gotta catch 'em all.